So according to experts and war analysts, they are saying that the United States is in trouble and we are now in a lose-lose situation. Now today, I want to give you this warning, what to expect, what we are about to see moving forward, and how this will impact you. So, all I ask is one thing, it takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now, let's begin. So there are a lot of issues that the United States is facing. First, we got this issue with Israel and Hamas, which is happening in Gaza, taking the lives of thousands and thousands of people, which is very sad. Well, the American people and the world are pushing back on Israel and on Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that they need to agree to a ceasefire. Well, this is only one of the problems. And the reason I bring this up is because there is an even greater problem that could pull the United States in deeper, costing us more money and spreading us very thin. And it has to do with Russia and Ukraine. Now, at this time, Congress is still fighting and still negotiating a deal to pass $60 billion to Ukraine. According to President Zelensky of Ukraine, he says that if Ukraine doesn't receive any additional aid and support, well, Russia is going to win this war. Ukraine will be no more, and Russia will be closer to our NATO allies. That is a problem. But, again, that's just one of the problems. The reason why I'm telling you about Israel and Gaza and Ukraine is because all three of these things are likely going to be combined into one bill. But this is where experts are saying this is a lose-lose situation for the American people. Here's why. If Congress doesn't pass aid to Israel, to Gaza, and to Ukraine, which is a big one, then Russia will take over Ukraine. Russia will win the war, and the United States will be stretched too thin. I'll address that more in just a moment. The other option is the United States and Congress pass this additional, most likely $100 billion bill. But in order to do that, Republicans are demanding that there is border security, tighter border policies. So right now, experts are saying this is a lose-lose situation because there is so much pressure to pass a bill for Ukraine, Israel, and humanitarian aid for Gaza that Democrats feel they are going to have to agree to whatever Republicans are asking for. And if Republicans are asking for the kitchen sink, Democrats might have to give it to them. But at the same time, Republicans are saying that this isn't our fault. We are doing this because we are being stretched too thin here in the United States. I just want to bring this up as well. I've been talking about, other cities and states like Chicago, Illinois, New York, where we are seeing the amount of immigrants coming in from other countries. It's just surging. Well, over the past week, I've found out that just here in my area, okay, and just in probably a 4 or 5 mile radius, like we already have 6 immigrants from Venezuela. 6. These are 6 different families. So I think that's interesting that it's happening all over the place. Again, I live in Washington State. So big difference. Okay, but what do Washington State, Illinois, and New York all have in common? They're Democratic states. All of them. Yeah, that's where we're seeing the surge. So again, experts are telling us we are seeing that right now there's so much happening. There's so much that we are losing because there's so many people coming in and we cannot afford it. Okay? That's just one thing. Let me show you these things. First off, the Houthis claim a third Red Sea ship attack as trade risks rise. The Houthis is an Iranian-backed group. Okay, Iran has backed many groups. Hamas is one of those groups as well. One of the things you need to understand is the Houthis have said that anybody coming through the Red Sea that is not carrying food and medicine for Gaza, for the people of Gaza, that ship is going to be attacked. And they have done that every single time. We have seen 3 just this week. Okay? But things are going to escalate. Here's one way. Right now, Maersk is demanding political action after another Houthi attack on a ship in the Red Sea. Again, 3rd time this week. But they are demanding political action, and if we do not see political action, guess what? It is going to turn violent. That is the expectation. And as people lose their lives, we are going to see this escalate even further and even faster. But again, this is just because of Israel and Hamas. It has nothing to do with Ukraine yet. Here's the big warning, and this is a massive warning. This is something that you need to be well aware of. If Russia wins in Ukraine, the U.S. may be stretched so thin it would leave the door wide open for China, according to a war analyst. Now, we're going to read through this in just a moment, but I want to be very clear on this, that the United States is in trouble because no matter what we do, we either spend more money and take it out of other provisions, and that's something that Democrats don't want to do, but it is likely going to be our only option. The other one is we don't spend any money. We don't help Ukraine. We don't help Israel. We don't send support for the people of Gaza. And again, the United States will be looked at as, why didn't you help? And then, just like this article is saying, it would leave the door wide open for China. That's not something that people want. Let's go ahead and read it. It says, if the U.S. abandoned Ukraine, a Russian victory would have dire consequences, according to a war analyst. It says the U.S. would be stretched so thin that China could flex its power and possibly invade another country, like Taiwan. It says the Institute for the Study of War said the U.S. has a much higher stake in the war than people think. It says the U.S. military aid to Ukraine jammed up in Congress in Kyiv, pleading for more help. A think tank is sounding the alarm. A Russian victory would not just mean the end of Ukraine, the analysts warned, it would give China, and again, this is very important, it would give China the green light to flex its power over a weakened U.S. and cost U.S. taxpayers an astronomical sum to pay for beefed up defense spending. Here's why. It says the Institute for the Study of War, a Washington, D.C. based think tank, warned that if Russia wins, the United States would be forced to move American troops and stealth jets to Eastern Europe, stretching the U.S. so thin that it could allow for China to claim Taiwan, expanding its territory and influence. That is not what the United States wants. We do not want to see Ukraine lose, Russia takes over, now we got to send more equipment and troops over to Eastern Europe, but by doing so, again, our recruitment numbers for the U.S. military are so low, that we're seeing historically, these are record numbers, okay? Record low numbers. That is a huge, huge problem. This is one of the reasons why a couple lawmakers have proposed that immigrants coming into the United States, if they want to be a citizen, if they are military-age men, then we should make sure that they not only have the ability, but almost require them to enroll in our U.S. military first, and then we will give them citizenship here. I don't know how many people really agree with that, but that is one of the things that is being discussed. So, right now, the one thing I can tell you is there's a lot of options. There's a lot of different paths that we can take. The problem is, every single path has a good side and a bad side. But according to many, they say we are in a lose-lose situation if you are more in the middle. Because if you are in the middle, you're not, all Republican, all Democrat. You're right in the middle. What we are about to see is we are either going to see the United States get stretched so thin that now we are competing with China. And this is something that we've heard before, that we were sending more munitions to Ukraine. We were sending so much that we were not able to replenish them at a 1-to-1 ratio. We weren't. So we were losing our stockpile by sending munitions to Ukraine. Well, this is something that we haven't done in a while, so our stockpiles have been moving up, but we are still lower than what we were before this war started. And that's what some are saying, is that we cannot wait until potentially China decides to take over Taiwan, and then we start to really build up our stockpile. At that time, it'll be too late, and this is why we are in this lose-lose situation. So, the United States is potentially in trouble, but how do we get out of it? What do we do moving forward? Well, this is what we're going to find out over the next week, because the Senate will be in session next week. They're going to decide if they're going to move forward with this supplemental for Ukraine. Is it going to include anything for immigration? Well, we're going to find out very soon. But again, a lot of these answers, a lot of these questions we're going to have answers to very soon. So, as we get more information, I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. All I ask is one thing, it takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. I'll see you guys on the next one.